Hi, and welcome to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith, and in this video, we're going to learn the 1 to 6 player game, Echoes the Cocktail, designed by Matthew Dunstan and Dave Neal, and published by Ravensburger, who helped sponsor this video. Actually, Echoes is a series of standalone games, and the Cocktail is just one of them. So learning the rules here will also teach you the rules to the other ones as well, and all of them invite you and the other players to solve a mystery using items you've discovered and the audible clues they've left behind, which you'll piece together to uncover the story they hide. They call this an audio mystery game, and you'll see why as you join me at the table and we learn how to play. To set up, find the 18 item cards with this back, but don't look at their faces yet. Go through and find the 9 marked with this star symbol in the bottom corner and set them aside for now. These will be used later. The remaining ones you'll place face up on the table for the players to see, along with the 6 chapter tiles, which are similar, but they really are tiles and have a framed border. Next, download the free Ravensburger Echoes app for your smartphone or tablet from Google Play or the App Store. Launch the app and then navigate to the box you're playing. In this case, we'll pick the Cocktail. Here you'll get a quick summary of the case, and when you're ready, you click the play button here. You'll now get a narration detailing the situation you find yourself in and the case that you're meant to solve, but I'll just mute this for now. You'll want to listen to this carefully though when you're playing, as it will have several important details and maybe even some clues as you pursue your case. And I personally found it helpful to have a notepad and pen handy to record down any clues that I felt might be relevant to the case while playing. At any time, you can skip forwards or backwards 5 seconds using the options here. And after the narration is complete, you tap here to continue. And that's the setup. In Echoes, you and the other players will be working together to figure out how the various pieces of the case, which are represented by cards and tiles, fit together to tell the real story behind the mystery they present. Now, I'm going to avoid spoiling anything important in this video, but the opening story does tell us that in this case, we're in Prohibition-era New York and we're trying to track down the whereabouts of mob boss Cruel Steve Manchetti. But all we have is his name, and we've tracked down a local speakeasy where some of his crew hang out, but we don't know any of their identities. Our job is to figure out who each of them are, what they're up to, and uncover the identity of Cruel Steve himself. Now, I will mention on the box, it says the game is for players aged 14 or older because some sounds supporting the theme may be disturbing to some players. Now, before we get into what players will be doing during the game, I think it will help to understand the specifics of the overall goal. On the table, we have 6 chapter tiles, and in total, there are 18 item cards. 9 we can see right now, and 9 that we'll get to later that we set aside during the setup. At the end of the game, each chapter will have 3 item cards assigned to it. Your job is to figure out which 3 items go with each chapter tile. Together, these 4 images will complete a chapter of the story. The chapter tile always comes first, and then you have to sort the 3 items that go with it into the correct order. Now at this point, you're probably thinking, okay, but how? Let's get into that next. There are no turns in this game. Instead, players will pick any face-up chapter or item and listen to its echo. And its echo is the fragment of the story that it represents. To hear the echo from a picture, position your device's camera in front of the tile or card you want to listen to, and once it appears in this area here, you can tap on that button to listen to its echo.
Yeah, it's me.
Again, I'll just pause this so I don't have to talk over it and I don't spoil anything. Now, when you listen to the full echo, it might not mean much of anything to you at this time, but again, this is where taking notes can really help. You should record and discuss anything that seems like it could be important. Also, examine the picture itself. There might be a clue there. And then scan and listen to the other available pictures. As you do, you may start to find connections. Something in one echo may seem to be related to something in another, telling a connected bit of story. Ultimately, you're trying to find the 3 items and 1 chapter tile that most logically go together, and also determine the order that the items go together in. Just keep in mind the story can jump around in time, so 2 items that might go together might not occur immediately one after the other in the timeline. Also, you don't have to solve the chapters themselves in order, just the pictures within a chapter. And you can listen to each echo as often as you like. You may also find it helpful to listen to the prologue again. And to do this, tap the keyboard icon here and then type in the code PRL and hit enter to have it played again. Also, if you ever have trouble scanning a card, perhaps due to bad lighting, each of them have a code on the back that you can enter directly instead in the same way. Eventually, the players may feel like they've identified the 3 items that go with one of the chapter tiles, and they feel they know the order these items should go in. When you're sure you're ready, you can then try to solve that chapter. To do this, switch the app over to solve mode by tapping here, and then scan the chapter tile of the one that you want to try to solve. Then, one at a time, scan in each of the 3 items that you picked in the order you believe they happened in that chapter's story. To avoid spoilers, I can't show you the results of this combination of chapter and cards, but the app will now tell you how many items you matched to that chapter correctly. 0 means none of them belong. That said, you could have them in the right order, just not with the right chapter. If it told you that 1 or 2 are correct, the app won't say which ones or if they're in the right order. And if it says you have 3 correct, you have the right items, just not in the right order. Or you might be told that you've solved the chapter correctly. If so, good job. The app will then provide you with a new audio summary of the chapter for you to play, which will reveal even more details than the original echoes provided. So listen closely there for new clues. When you get a chapter correct, you may find it helpful to group those cards and chapter tile together and just set them off to the side so you can focus on the pictures you have remaining as you try to solve what's left. There's no penalty for being wrong when you try to solve a chapter and get errors. Just go back and listen to some new echoes, check your notes, and try a new arrangement. After trying to solve, when you're ready to listen to new echoes, just be sure to switch back to the listen mode by tapping here. If you have successfully solved a chapter and ever want to hear the chapter's summary audio recording again, just switch back to the solve mode and scan that chapter's tile. The app will remember that you already solved that chapter and will play back the solution summary for you. Now, once you've successfully solved 3 of the chapters using all of the face-up items you began the game with, you then take the 9 item cards that you'd set aside earlier, the ones with a star on the back, and flip them face up using them to solve the remaining chapters. Once you've solved all 6 chapters, there's one final challenge. You now have to figure out the order that the chapters go in. So gather all the chapter tiles together. And once you think you have that determined, go back to the solve mode and scan the 6 chapter tiles into the app in the order you think they should occur in. If you're correct, you win and can now listen to the epilogue and learn how the story ends. If not, keep listening to the chapter echoes and try to figure out the correct order. And once complete, you can then listen to the whole story from the main menu. If you're having trouble solving the chapters, you can tap here and set the difficulty to easy mode. From now on, when you're testing a solution, you'll get these symbols with the pictures you scanned. A red X means the card belongs to a different chapter. Blue arrows means the card is in the right chapter, but not in the right position. And a green check mark tells you the card is in the right chapter and the right place. If you're looking for an even greater challenge when playing an Echoes game, you can start with all 18 cards face up right from the beginning. The game will be more difficult to solve when you have all of the items in play at once. I should also make clear, once you've solved an Echoes game, it won't change the next time you go to play it, but that makes it a great gift to lend or pass on to a friend when you're done. And speaking of playing with friends, this is also a game that can be played remotely over any remote calling software. The player with the game can just arrange the cards on the table face up and have their webcam overhead, or if they want, hold up individual cards to the webcam, and players will be able to scan through the remote software using their own devices at home so they can hear the recordings for themselves if they want. And don't forget, there are other Echoes games you can pick up with other mysteries. But otherwise, that's everything you need to know to play Echoes. If you have any questions about anything you saw here, feel free to put them in the comments below, and I'll gladly answer them as soon as I get a chance. You'll also find forums for discussion, pictures, other videos, and lots more over on the games page at BoardGameGeek, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. And if you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a like, subscribing, and clicking that little bell icon so you get a notification anytime we post a new video. And if you'd like to support us directly, you can join our Patreon team, which we'll have linked below. But until next time, thanks for watching.